àwọn ọmọ tí à ń sọ yìí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kó compete pẹ̀lú àwọn tí àràgbà arákùnrin tó lọ ń kọ́ ní China nígbà tó ọmọ Yorùbá gbéra tó lọ ń ṣe oṣù mẹ́fà mo ní ṣó gbọ́ èdè ni ó náà mo gbọ́ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ó ní but English làwọn fi ń kọ́ wọn ní ACCA ní China. And these are the kind of professionals tá à ń sọ pé ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ ìrìn àjò yìí. Mo á jẹ́ kó rí yé arákùnrin yẹn pé ọ̀tọ̀ ní ká máa ní ànídòwó but we need the professionals. The professionals ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ darapọ̀ mọ́ movement yìí ẹ má yọra yín sílẹ̀. It is part of how we can liberate the people because àwọn tó wà nílé they have been kept below par. So Professor Akintoye, about 60 million Yoruba people both at home and in the diaspora supported the quest to establish a Yoruba nation as a sovereign country. Speaking with the Punch newspaper, Monday, 6 January 2025, Professor Adebanji Akintoye said, "We are not going back."
Tí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ àpàrà sórí ìkànnì Yorùbá Space TV níbi tá a ti máa ń mú àwọn ètò àti ìròyìn wá fún yín lónà ọ̀jọ̀ kan gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri Nàìjíríà pàápàá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tiwa. Ẹ wo tó bá jẹ́ ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ tí yín rè lórí ìkànnì yìí ẹ bá wa subscribe ẹ sì má gbàgbé láti tẹ bọ́tìn kékeré tó dàbí àgbo yẹn tí yóò máa ta yín lóko nínú ìgbà tá a bá ti mú fídíò tuntun wá síta. Ẹ wo èyí tá a tún fún wa fún yín lónìí àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ni ó yá ẹ wá lọ bó ṣe ń lọ ẹnì tó níbẹ̀.
Ǹjẹ́ àwọn tí à ń pètò fún pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ǹjẹ́ mọ̀ tó ń bọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà torí pé education system tí bàbá Akintoye fi sọ fún wa nínú the good news path to prosperity orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá in 1,000 years ẹ lè experience tí mo rí ní classroom àwọn ọmọ mi ẹ lè experience ẹ ṣé blackboard tó wà electronic ni mo fẹ́ sọ ni àbí bí teacher ṣe ń bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń sọ progression táwọn ọmọ òdua tọ́lọ́ dẹ̀ fún wọn ṣe àbí the whole system tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa pé kódà àtẹni tó lówó àtẹni tó lówó kò ń ṣe dandan ni pé kó mọ́ ọmọ lọ sí private school privilege ni àfọmọ tó bá ní scholarship wọ́n wá bìkan náà àwọn ọmọ yẹn pé kí ni value nǹkan tó fẹ́ mo wá ń wo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí bàbá Akintoye tó ń sọ fún yín pé Tinubu ò lè fún yín ní value fún education nílẹ̀ Yorùbá èmi ò sọ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà o bí Tinubu bá lọ́dún mẹ́jọ o lè ever enjoy value education táwọn ọmọ mi ń jàǹfààní nílùú yìí o lè máa argue pé ṣé tí a bá gba Yorùbá nation kọ́ ṣé wọ́n máa ríru value yẹn á jẹ́ pé a ti curtail ara wa within the southwest a lè ṣe system tó máa wà better ju UK lọ. mo ń bọ̀. mo wá ń wo àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn teacher àwọn tó ń sọ fún mi mo wá ń sunkún pé ìjọmọ Yorùbá ó gbọ́ àgbọ́yé pé education tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ pé ká fi kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti the ground pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Oòduà ó wá bà mí nínú jẹ́ Triple DRC ni you need to know how many times they have to call me anytime that my son is late to college lóòótọ́ ó wà lára tí wọ́n bá wa sọ náà torí traffic lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan àwọn ọmọ yẹn late lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta àmọ́ wọ́n ń ṣe dáadáa nílé ìwé àwọn ọmọ tiwa náà tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tá à ń pè Nàìjíríà lénìí ta ní ká switch láti Nàìjíríà padà sílẹ̀ Yorùbá kí a lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n jàǹfààní irú western education tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ fún wọn with the tech tó wà nínú education system but intẹ́yìn rí ni pé wọ́n náà fẹ́ ṣe rally wọ́n fi kówó jẹ tó ti gbàgbé pé èmi ò sanwó school nílùú yìí fáwọn ọmọ mi ọ̀fẹ́ ni lóòótọ́ àwọn other things tí wọ́n need a gbọ́dọ̀ rà fún wọn tí mo ò bá láǹfààní pé mo ní owó ó ti di dandan pé kí ìlú yìí provide fún wọn. but lẹ́yìn pé ara uniform, ara school bag, ara jacket, ara bàtà tó bá ní ni o, torí àwọn kan wà nílùú yìí náà tí wọ́n tẹ̀ ní rárá láti lè afford láti ra gbogbo nǹkan yẹn, wọ́n ti ṣe provision fún wọn. Ǹjẹ́ President Bola Tinubu lè ṣe provision fún gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kí a ní education system kó sọ fún àwọn gómìnà pé kó make education, torí a rí irọ́ tí Ọ̀ṣínbàjò pa fún wa nígbà tó ṣọdún mẹ́jọ pẹ̀lú Buhari. Mo wá ń wo lára àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n bá mi discuss nípa àwọn ọmọ Oòduà. Mo wá ní ǹjẹ́ àwọn ọmọ yìí àti àwọn ọmọ tó ń bẹ nílé tí wọ́n ń jọ ní làákàyè, ǹjẹ́ tá bá jọ gbé wọn together lénìí, ǹjẹ́ wọ́n lè wà on the same page? Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n lè wà on the same pace? Nítorí pé standard tí àwọn ọmọ yìí wà níbí báyìí, wọ́n ń lọ in the accordant to bí system ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ kó lọ. Ǹjẹ́ system Nàìjíríà ó ń tó pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá, àwọn ọmọ wa tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ní south west ní gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀, ǹjẹ́ àwọn náà ní the same system tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe progression fún wọn? Mo wá ní màá wá share pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá bóyá eléyìí máa prepare yín pé kájọ ṣe àbí kẹ́ni ẹ̀ ní kankan tẹ́ fi ṣe. Ó wá tí wá dùn mọ́ mi nú pé lẹ́nìí a professional ọmọ Yorùbá kan pè mí, ó máa láǹfààní àti gbọ́dọ̀ yìí torí màá sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí. Mo wá pray pé a máa rí àwọn professionals bẹ́ẹ̀ náà tó máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. So ìwọ tó wà nílé tó ní ò darapọ̀, it's okay, but professional ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa nítorí pé ẹni tí ó bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nìí mo ti connected pẹ̀lú Emola tó jẹ́ the deputy chairman, chartered accountant ACCA. Ó wá mọ̀ tó jẹ́ kó wà unique ni pé China ló ti ń ṣe 6 months, a wá padà wá ṣe 6 months ní UK. That blew my head away. 12 years is on that same path. A lò oṣù mẹ́fà ní China as a lecturer, a wá lò oṣù mẹ́fà ní UK. Ìjẹ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá mọ̀ tá à ń sọ pé kí ìran Yorùbá kó tètè kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà? Ǹjẹ́ mọ feelings táwa ṣe ń feel àbẹ́ kan wò pé nítorí àwọn rally tá fẹ́ ṣe tó máa make nǹkan tó wà unique ẹ̀ ń sọ pé a fẹ́ fi kówó jẹ. Arákùnrin wa pè mí, mo ò mọ̀ rí, a sọ̀rọ̀ rí, àmọ́ ó ní ọmọ Yorùbá lòun, ó dẹ̀ wò ó pé kóun náà darapọ̀ lẹ́yìn ìgbà tóun gbọ́ àwọn program tá à ń ṣe. Chartered accountant ACCA, torí mo question ẹ̀, mo bí pé kí ló ń ṣe ní China? Ó ní òun máa ná lecture àwọn students ní China láti fi kọ́ ACCA. Sórí ibi tí brain power ọmọ Yorùbá dé. Ìwọ wá ń takú fún bàbá Akíntóyè alànà tó ń sọ fún wa pé ọmọ Yorùbá ló ní the global world, but tá bá sì wà nínú Nàìjíríà a lè progress. Tá bá sì wà nínú Nàìjíríà a lè progress. Ìyá wa Comfort Ológunjà tó wá ń jẹ́ kó yé mi pé we can have a better education in Yoruba land. Wọ́n náà wọ́n lọ sí free primary school in the late 60s títí dé 70s which was standard. Mo wá ń wo gbogbo iṣẹ́ táwọn ọmọ yìí ṣe nílé ìwé, mo wá ń sunkún sínú pé ǹjẹ́ tá a bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà torí pé àwọn kan ní wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ sí wa. Mo wá ṣèrántí tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ pé wọ́n máa fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí wa láti fẹ́ fi bà wá nú jẹ́ kí a má lè progress, ká má lè tẹ̀síwájú, pé kò sí nǹkan kan tẹ́ lè sọ sí wa tó gbọ́dọ̀ bí wá nú. Kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè sọ sí wa tá gbọ́dọ̀ fi ṣe ìbínú, nítorí pé ọ̀nà àbáyọ kan tó kù òun ni pé kí olúkálùkù kó lọ separate. Ìwọ tó bá láǹfààní àti tó wá gbọ́ tẹ̀sán ẹ̀ tí mo dẹ̀ ń jẹ́ kó yẹ pé ẹni tí mo bá kò ṣe pé àìtí wọ akọ̀ máa ń rí nígbà míì torí ẹ mọ̀ páwa bàbá abisi and àtẹ́ndì àwọn kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, but èmi mo láǹfààní àti àtẹ́ndì ti èyí tí mo lọ yìí. Mo wá jókòó, mo wọnú classroom yẹn títí throughout àfi bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ mo kàn ń wo pé chalk lásán chalk tó fi ń kọ̀ọ̀kan ní blackboard ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lẹ́ni it is hardly found. Kàmáì tí wàá sọ àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ ló chalk mọ́ àwọn tí ń lo electronic in the classroom láti fi ṣe communication between the student and the teacher. Teacher yẹn tí wọ́n á jẹ́ kó yé mi pé àwọn àǹfààní kan tó ń bẹ tá a bá nídẹ̀ kí n jẹ́ káwọn mọ̀ káwọn send ẹ̀ sínú email mi pé àwọn àǹfààní kan wà tí mo ní láti disclose online. Pé àwọn àǹfààní wà fáwọn àwọn tó ń gbé nílùú ìmọ̀ràn àwọn àǹfààní tí mo sọ yẹn láti fi ran àwọn ọmọ yìí lọ́wọ́ láti lè jẹ́ kí progression wọn kó lè wà top notch nítorí pé àwọn ọmọ tí à ń sọ yìí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kó compete pẹ̀lú àwọn tí àràgbà arákùnrin tó lọ ń kọ́ ní China nígbà tó ọmọ Yorùbá gbéra tó lọ ń ṣe oṣù mẹ́fà mo ní ṣó gbọ́ èdè ni ó náà mo gbọ́ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ó ní but English làwọn fi ń kọ́ wọn ní ACCA ní China. And these are the kind of professionals tá à ń sọ pé ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ ìrìn àjò yìí. Mo á jẹ́ kó rí yé arákùnrin yẹn pé ọ̀tọ̀ ní ká máa ní ànídòwó but we need the professionals. The professionals ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ darapọ̀ mọ́ movement yìí ẹ má yọra yín sílẹ̀ it is part of how we can liberate the people because àwọn tó wà nílé they have been kept below par. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sáré ka update tó wá láti Benin Republic látọ̀dọ̀ bàbá Professor Akintoye with the interview tó granting àwọn paper ní Benin tó lọ láti Nigeria. 60 million Yoruba are ready to exit Nigeria. 60 million Yoruba people, and this is coming out from today. Mo kí bàbá dáadáa, like I said, it's a privilege láti máa láǹfààní àti bá the leader of the movement sọ̀rọ̀ lóòrèkóòrè. Èmi àti bàbá a sì sọ̀rọ̀ lánàá ara lé koko ni. Bàbá ní a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàárẹ̀ lórí ìyàwó àwọn tó kú wọ́n ní kò gbọ́dọ̀ sú wa kò gbọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ wá wọ́n ní gbogbo gbàtà bá ti fẹ́ bá jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ wá ká máa gbọ́n tí màmá sọ fún wa pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ odò torí pé a gbọ́dọ̀ kóra wa jáde kúrò nínú ìlú àdáwọ̀n ìlú òfò ìlú tó ti bayé jẹ́ ìlú tí ẹ lè ever enjoy the same education system táwọn ọmọ Oòduà enjoy nílùú ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ ni mo sọ tẹ́ ẹ̀ sanwó fún ẹ̀dá àgbọ̀n tí bàbá sọ ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú lórí ìrìnàjò tèmi. The leader of the Yoruba self-determination movement, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, has vowed that the movement will not give up on its quest for Yoruba nation. Mashe analysis edada eje kadele. According to Professor Akintoye, about 60 million Yoruba people, both at home and in the diaspora, supported the quest to establish a Yoruba nation as a sovereign country. Speaking with the Punch newspaper, Monday 6 January 2025, Professor Adebanji Akintoye said, "We are not going back. We must leave Nigeria or our nation will perish." Don't you hear our voice in the street with a question mark? Yoruba nation, now, no going back. We mean the Yoruba people in Nigeria, roughly 55 to 60 million people. We want to establish a country of our own. There will be no Nigeria where we have our country. But if the rest want to continue as Nigeria, they are okay to do so. Asked about last year's letter written to the government of the United Kingdom concerning the movement and agitation, Professor Akintoye said it received an acknowledgement from the UK government that it was being attended to. We knew from the beginning that we are dealing with one of the most powerful governments in the world, which is the United Kingdom. And it is not something you can expect a response to in a month or two. But we have got a general kind of acknowledgement that our letter was being attended to. We got the acknowledgement on a date after we submitted the letter. It is the British government. We cannot rush them, so that does not mean they are not giving it the needed importance. They are doing it their own way, Professor Akintoye said. In a similar letter written to the Nigerian government requesting a peaceful breakaway, Professor Adebanji Akintoye said it had evidence that its letter was causing some panic within the government. Yes, the Nigerian government are working on it. We know that they are working on it, and we have seen evidence that our letter is causing them some trouble, but they don't have to have any trouble with us. The United Nations Declaration of the Right of Indigenous People affirms that very clearly that every indigenous people in the world have the right to self-determination and separation from their country to which they are currently belong. That they must do it peacefully and not violently and in a destructive manner. And we are following those directions very carefully, Professor Akintoye said. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ṣe àlàyé lé lórí. It is now confirmed from the leader himself that the British government has acknowledged the letter and they are working on it. What letter are we talking about? The letter that Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho at 1400 hours on October 12 in the history of Yoruba people that have lived in the UK deliver what we call one of the highest documents. Some call it petition, some call it letter. But something was very unique about it. It's got to do with the Yoruba people asking, requesting, making their quest known to the world, mostly United Kingdom, that we are ready to exit the Nigeria amalgamation that was put together in 1914. Quite a lot of people went further to say, why would you want to take a letter to the UK, knowing fully well that the country is the same country that merged us together and they are not likely to let us go. We have not come to the UK to ask them to intervene alone, but we are giving them the information ahead that the Yoruba people are demanding their right under the right of self-determination. Many Nigerians still want to know what is the content rather than asking what will be the outcome of that letter. Because the outcome of that letter that the British government is still looking into, and like Professor said in this press release, as much as we have been giving an acknowledgement to the letter, and you're hearing this for the very first time, you are hearing these for the very first time. For those of you that are in doubt, that letter received its acknowledgement. Yes. But there was no need, since the leader will be the one to tell us at an appropriate when it should be announced. Letter that made Lossi Odo United Kingdom received its acknowledgement. Do I know about it? I will leave you to guess on that. As of when bring power Yoruba, I feel one Nigeria through the Professor Akintoye and Tesiwaju. But as the British government responded back, they have not yet responded. Because the contents of that letter, they have no other choice than to look into it, vet it very well before they can even pen back Baba Akintoye. Kó tó lè respond sí Baba Akintoye, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ tó fẹ́ kọ sí Baba Akintoye padà. Lórí lẹ́tà tá gbé lọ yẹn, they must sit back, review it with the king of this country before they can write Baba Akintoye back. And we will let you know when that happens. But Babanja Koyewape, that has not yet happened because we are dealing with one of the most sophisticated countries in the world. Tọ́badẹ́ ní àwọn tó mọ̀ nípa diplomacy, UK is part of it. And that letter is on the highest diplomatic that you can ever think of. The highest. And if you're still in doubt, when Yoruba ma kúrò nínú Nigeria, you better start understanding that what is now needed is for us to push out on the street peacefully and demand Bomo Yoruba that in Tonsewa Onipa fe kúrò nínú Nigeria. That is the only other option to add to more of what is happening and what will happen. because diplomacy will be part of this movement. Diplomacy, as it is being requested in the world, will be used. And that is exactly what Baba Akintoye and his team are doing. So let's start reviewing the letter or this press release to Jabo Lenu from the leader of the movement himself. Like I said, I was aware that this is coming out because I was in close contact with Professor as at yesterday when this was being prepared. Only privilege that we cannot abuse. So, you might wake up one day while buried in the Yoruba country. Because our demands must be met, but without you supporting that movement, it will be difficult. Kò ń ṣe Baba Akintoye nìkan ló náà fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Kò ń ṣe Igboho nìkan ló náà fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n náà fẹ́ Yorùbá country, ó fẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, you will then have no other choice. Tó bá ti lu aago, a gbọ́dọ̀ fi wọ̀n pé gbogbo wa la fẹ́. That is the reason why we are calling for the rally. So ìwọ tó ń sọ pé ṣé rally ló kàn? O tí ìmọ̀ tó wà tó kàn, because in tó kàn ni pé ká sọ fún gbogbo àgbáyé pé kò ń ṣe àwọn méjì nìkan lọ́nà àwọn fẹ́ country. Gbogbo wa la jọ fẹ́. How many of us in each of our ìpínlẹ̀? That will determine you whether you want it or not. So it is entirely up to you to take the message to every community, to every local government. Láti lọ sọ fún wa pé we are on the final track láti kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ìgbà wo ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? I have no idea. Subject to who and you. Tàbá ti jọ sọ pé a fẹ́. Tàbá dẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́. O lè ever enjoy classroom tí mo ní àti jókòó sí tó jẹ́ classroom àwọn ọmọ mi. Ó kàn máa wò lórí social media ni. Wọ́n ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ṣerú standard classroom yẹn sí anywhere in Yoruba land àfi tàbá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. So tó bá sọ pé o ò fẹ́ kí Yorùbá exit Nàìjíríà, President Bola Tinubu ò lè fún yín ní a standard classroom fáwọn ọmọ yín láti lè ní extra education system. Kódà the highest paid school fees tó ń pè ní 42 million. O tó bẹ́ẹ̀ láti ní 42 million in the next years and years tọ́lọ́jọ́ máa fi dé wá bẹ́ẹ̀. Torí èmi ò mọ̀ èyí tó ń sọ fún yín tó fẹ́ ní 42 million. That is the highest paid school fees is in Lagos State. 42 million lọ́pẹ́. Èmi rí mo rí fídíò yẹn lórí Twitter. So if you now say that o fẹ́ Yorùbá country, o fẹ́ live ìgbésí ayé tó dáa, o dẹ̀ fẹ́ káwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ìgbésí ayé tó dáa, kọ́ ní standard bí Koiki ṣe ń tì sí yín lójú tó ń tìbọ̀ yín lójú, àwọn ọmọ ètí jẹun nísìn. Hello, ọmọ Òdùà. Oi, come here. Man liver. The two of you, come here. I want to see you. Robert, what did you eat?
Rat.
And what? What was in the wrap?
Chicken tenders.
And what sauce did you use?
Burger sauce and sweet and sour.
What did you eat?
Rat
Okay. What was the sauce you used?
and sweet and sour.
What drink did you have?
Apple juice.
And a joke about TV. As long as your children will not die in a stampede, as long as your children can have a standard education, as long as your children can have a better welfare in Nigeria, then ní láti jáde tó bá ti ní ká jáde. All you need to do is just sit back, kò ní kò sí tó pọ̀ pẹ̀lú Yorùbá nation. But tó bá mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ ò lè ní standard, ó dẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ ní standard, then you will come out and ask together with the millions of the Yoruba people that are making their demands and their requests under our leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, as we continue to look into this press release to Jabo Lenu. Let's go further with more analysis on it. Baba Akintoye jẹ́ kó yé wa pé Yoruba self-determination has vowed. Tó bá sọ pé vow, Victor Oscar Whiskey Echo Delta. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé, don't use that. Ẹ máa ní VOWED. Kí ló ń pè ní vow? Ìjà lè ní ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá nation dání ká tún máa ní afẹ́ṣe politics. No, we demand something, we stay on that until our demands are met. Ká demand wa bá ti meet, tó meet demands wa, then we are not going back, which is our slogan. Lost anywhere. We will remain where we are in all our ìpínlẹ̀ until our demands are met by both the federal, our House of Representatives, and our governors. So, let us all prepare for what is going to play out in 2025. But ele o ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ olóyè Ìgbòho kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ Baba Akintoye. It is about you, me, and the rest of the Yoruba people both in the diaspora and both at home. And let's quickly look into the meaning of vow. Taba sọ pé vow, kí ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀? Taba ní vow, V-O-W-E-D. What is the full meaning according to the English dictionary? Quickly. Because something is very important that we learn as the words are being used. This is still Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Ó fẹ́ mọ̀ nípa Yorùbá nation ni o gbọ́dọ̀ tètè mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ dáadáa nísìn kó má bàa di ẹni tí ò ní mọ̀ tó ń lọ nínú ẹ̀. Yorùbá nation kò ń ṣe ti bàbá Akíntóyè nìkan àti ti Ìgbòho. Vow. The word vowed.
Vow.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí tá bá sọ pé the word
Vow.
the past tense òun ni vow the yìí lẹ́yìn. Tó bá ní vow, it is something that is very important. But kí ni meaning ẹ̀? Solemnly promise to do specified thing. So what are we promising? We are promising that we want Yoruba nation and we are not going back on that. Kò sí nǹkan tí àwọn government fi bá wa sọ, kò sí tí international community fi bá wa sọ, gbogbo tí demand wa bá fẹ́, òun ni àwọn ní kọ́ bá wa look into. And that's exactly what we are saying. And what is our demand? A fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, kò ní any reason tá gbọ́dọ̀ wà nínú ẹ̀. A dẹ̀ ní láti ṣẹ̀pẹ́ nínú ẹ̀ ká máa ṣe sọ pé a fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ lọ ṣe restructure, a fẹ́ lọ ṣe rerunning, a fẹ́ lọ rewind, no. Our demands must be met under the international law so that we can use that to give standard to all our loved ones. Is me okay? To all our loved ones, both in the diaspora and outside. So the word vow is solemnly promise to do Yoruba nation. I vowed myself to this enterprise. That is now using the past tense, which is with the ed laying. And many people use the word vow when they get married, when you do all kind of things. But the reason Tiba Bakito is saying low on this is because it's to make a solemnly vowed declaration of intent. She vowed to love him forever. Awati vowed the Yoruba nation. You okay? Yoruba nation. Òun nìkan ni I need láti máa campaign lé lórí. We don't need any other thing because the country is not working for us. Kò sí nǹkan tẹ́lẹ̀ sọ. We come back to if we are telling you that the country will be attacked ẹ̀ ń sọ pé rọ́lá ń pa. Tá bá ṣe program ẹ máa ní oríwọ̀ pé nǹkan ṣe wá orí ẹ̀yìn tí ẹ̀dẹ̀ wà nílé ni ẹ ní láti understand pé the country is dead if they can attack the military barrack. Wọ́n ì tí sọye sójà tó kú fún wa. I don't have the numbers but my investigation is still going on. I met online the chief of staff ó wà ní Doha. Ó ń parọ́ fún wọn ní Al Jazeera but everything is fine while they are attacking the Nigerian military back home. The video is on Al Jazeera. Mo ní bíbá international media yín tó bá ṣe ń káàkiri tó ń sá lọ anywhere tó fi lọ presentation Nigeria. We will make sure that we come out and tell the international community. Ó dẹ̀ tí ní òun rẹ́dí ìkan tó ń lọ sí international criminal court. Mo ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀ yẹn later. That is your chief of staff. The chief of defence staff rather. What interview ní Al Jazeera gbogbo tó sọ for the past 40 minutes irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ lóhun ready láti lọ sí international criminal court. Àdèmàgbé wọn débẹ̀. Because while he was lying, Nigerian military were being killed in Borno state. Kò dẹ̀ ṣe Borno nìkan. Because mo sọ fún yín pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ẹ̀yin nírọ̀ ni mò ń pa. Wọ́n ti ń lo IED ní school tó pààyàn méjì. Èèyàn méjì lọ sọ fún yín. I will just leave it like that. This happened in the FCT capital. Oh, gbọ́ news yẹn pé wọ́n fi IED kí ló ń pè ní IED ìwọ sì ní sùúrù. Jẹ́ àparí tí bàbá Akíntóyè sọ. Bẹ̀kọ́ mo sọ fún yín pé tí wọ́n bá ń parọ́ fún yín nílé Koiki Media máa debunk gbogbo rọ wọn. Tó o bá wá lè bá wa gbé ọ́díò yìí lọ síbi tó yẹ kó rìn dé títí dọ́dọ̀ àwọn tiwọn náà á jẹ́ pé o ò sí lára movement nìyẹn. Because gbogbo yín náà sọ pé ẹ gbọ́ wa we are now making sure that it is going in the audio format. Let's go further. Back to Baba Akíntóyè quickly. Let's see. As we continue to review why the Yoruba people needs to leave Nigeria now, before kó tó di pé wọ́n máa wá invade yín. Because the military barrack that was invaded kò ń ṣojú lásán. We told you a week ago that Australia sọ fún wa pé ká wà very careful in Nigeria. I came out, I did the program. It is not even up to 2 weeks. Kò tí pé 1 week tí Australia won àwọn citizens wọn pé ẹ má ṣeré lọ sí Borno. We saw the military barracks being attacked. But that is not where we are still standing on right now. We are still talking about why the Yoruba people need now to exit Nigeria before it is too late. We have no business with Nigeria. Nigeria failed. It has expired. And the Yoruba people needs to leave now. Let's go back. See, Oro Baba Kitoye. 60 million Yoruba people are ready. Babani vowed that the movement will not give up. Motisomini vow. Ti ebani baba o ti gba this, o ti ṣe this, only vow. But Yoruba Nation movement. How are you? You okay? How was it today? What do you need to do? Hold on. And? It was. Want me to toast it? Yeah, I'll help you to do it. Just to toast it, right? Ọmọ tiẹ̀ náà bá ṣáà ti lè dé láti iléèwé tó lè jẹun kékeré ní ìtókù bọ̀ tó ọba ti lè jẹun tó dé láti iléèwé tó ṣe yún rí tó ń bẹ lóúnjẹ tó ń sọ pé kò tó ń jẹnu lé a jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ṣiṣẹ́ fún ènìyàn. But continue to live in denial. Continue to live in denial. Continue to be told that Nigeria is working when you know that the country is dead. Ètò bá dẹ̀ ti kú, what you do is you bury it. Bury Nigeria so that the life of millions of us will be better. Let's continue. According to Baba Kitoye, gẹ́gẹ́ bí n tó sọ, wọ́n ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó pé 60 million, èmi ọmọ yẹn ní Yorùbá, nílé àti ní ẹ̀yìn odi ni wọ́n sọ̀pọ́tì pé kíran Yorùbá kó dá dúró láti lè dá orílẹ̀-èdè tiwọn sílẹ̀. Ṣé wọ́n fẹ́ kí a dá orílẹ̀-èdè tiwa sílẹ̀? Ṣó wà lára àwọn tó ń takò? Ṣó wà lára àwọn tó ń sọ pé orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá àsìkò tí tó? Kí ni ìdí tó ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? Kí ni ìdí tó ṣe ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Kí ni ìdí tó jẹ́ pé alátakò kí Yorùbá dá dúró kó yọ rẹ̀ kúrò nínú orílẹ̀-èdè kan tó ń pè Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n sọ èdè kan náà tí wọ́n ń ṣẹ̀yà kan náà? Kí a lè jẹ́ ẹ̀yà kan náà, kí a wà lójú kan ní gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀, láti ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara, ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi, lọ sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo, padà sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun, dé ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì, dé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́, padà sí ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn State, tá máa fi dé ìpínlẹ̀ Lagos State. Ìyẹn ò ń ṣe tó fẹ́. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́? Kí ló fẹ́ gangan? Ètò fẹ́ ni pé ká wà nínú Nàìjíríà tí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ò lè lọ sí school tó wà standard, táwọn ọmọ yẹn ò lè rí jẹ, tó lè rí mu, tó dé láti iléèwé àbí tó tẹ̀ lọ rárá, tó ń ta wóróbo kiri ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Tó fẹ́ pín 5,000 tó bá jẹ́ pé ibi tí ìlú tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ni gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tó fẹ́ pín 5,000 fún yẹn ó yẹ kó máa gbà níbi benefit ni kó máa wọnú àkáǹtì wọn ní every week. Mo ní bàbá àǹtí brother sister ọ̀rẹ́ pé wọ́n ní UK, mo mọ̀ ní South America, pé ìjẹ́ àwọn ọmọ wọn wọ́n fún wọn ní benefit ní every week ní ọ̀sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀. Ìtọ́ bá níwọ̀ fún wọn a jẹ́ pé bóyá ó ní ìdí díẹ̀, torí pé ọmọ tó ò ní ìwé gan nílùú yìí wọ́n fún ní benefit. Ó kàn máa ní díẹ̀ tí bá dẹ̀ sọ pé benefit kò ń ṣe gbogbo benefit torí mo mọ tí mo sọ. So lẹ́ǹkan sí fún gbogbo èyí tẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa. A ṣe ń sọ nípa Baba Kitoye. What do you want with it? Where's your sister? Ṣé bọ́tà ló fẹ́? Ìyàtọ̀ bọ́tà dẹ̀ wà fi spread. So ìyàtọ̀ ní méjèèjì ní differences. Wọ́n kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin yẹn wá lẹ́ǹkan sí pé ìrìnàjò Yorùbá Nation tí Baba Kitoye ní Jan. That's nice. Mo kí wọlé nǹkan sí lórí ìkànnì Koiki Media. Baba Kitoye jẹ́ kó yé wa pé ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílé àti tó ń bẹ lóko ló nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí Yorùbá Nation. Ṣé wọ́n wà lára àwọn tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí àti pé kí ló dé tó ṣe nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí? What is the reason that you are an obstacle? Is it because the current administration that will expire just like we saw Osibajo 8 years that expired? The 8 years of our loved son, the brilliant one, the most intelligent one among the government of Buhari expired. And I don't think that it has changed any landmark in Yoruba land today. After Tí Osibajo ṣe 8 good years in government, I'm not able to point even in Remo Shagamu that this is what he has been able to put there in any kind of structure. So what is going to be the difference by the time Tinubu completes his own? Can we guarantee that by the time Tinubu completes his own, our life will be better? I'm sure you know the answer to that. Let's go further. Baba Kitoye ń bá àwọn ìwé ìròyìn sọ̀rọ̀. Ó ní kí ni èdè tá fi ń sọ pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, òun ni pé we are not. Àwọn wo ni we? Ìyẹn máa happen nígbà tó bá ní ká jáde. Kọ́ ní ká jáde tán. Then ẹ̀yin náà sọ fún mi pé Koiki ṣé wọ́n ló máa ní ká jáde ni? Ẹ̀yin kọ́ ni mo bá sọ̀rọ̀. àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí mo bá sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tí yà ń jẹ nínú Nàìjíríà kò ń ṣẹ̀yìn tí yà ò jẹ torí kò ń ṣe gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ni yà ń jẹ nínú Nàìjíríà but ìwọ tó bá mọ̀ pé yà ń jẹ tó lè fẹ́ jẹ́ kí o gbé ìgbésí ayé tó dáa tó bá ti ní kó jáde o ní right láti jáde tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé ò jáde ìyẹn ò ní dá iṣẹ́ dúró fáwọn tó fẹ́ jáde but the more the numbers the better so ẹ ní láti máa send audio sí mi ẹ ní láti máa pè mí nínú audio yín I am not interested because àwọn tí wọ́n lè gbé ní standard tí àwọn ọmọ tèmi gbé nílùú òyìnbó and don't expect them to come down and do a rally for you àwọn ọmọ yóò lè wá sí Nàìjíríà láti wá bá ṣe rally they have no reason to come down so tó bá ń expect pé àwọn ọmọ kan ń bọ̀ láti UK àti gbogbo ọmọ diaspora bẹ́ẹ̀ àbí diaspora kan ń bọ̀ ọmọ ìyá máa jẹ́ ṣége sí gbogbo yín lára tó bá ń dúró pé diaspora kan máa wálé láti wá fara kàn yín pé kẹjọ jáde fún rally tó bá jẹ́ pé yẹn lè dúró dé ìyá máa jẹ́ ṣége sí gbogbo yín lára torí àwọn tó bá máa wá there will be just 1% out of the diaspora tó ń bẹ níta none of them is gonna come but ọ̀nà wo ló lè fi ràn yín lọ́wọ́ òun ni pé kọ́ help movement láti lè ṣe kíni láti lè fún wọn ní gbogbo tó bá need ní as at the time tí wọ́n bá ní kọ́ fún wọn ní support that is all they can do don't expect the diaspora to buy a ticket and come to Nigeria and do a rally on your behalf nítorí pé kíni gbogbo ibi tí àwọn èèyàn ti ń jáde ní gbogbo àgbáyé èyí rí àwọn diaspora àwọn tó wá sílé ni ṣèbá àárín wọn ní Mozambique àárín wọn ní South Africa àárín wọn ní other African countries around the world and also other countries around the world níbo lẹ ti rí kí diaspora wa the diaspora will come out in their own country tó bá wà má expect diaspora tó ń gbé ní UK kó máa bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà inú UK ló ti máa ṣe rally inú America ló ti máa ṣe rally and many other countries tó bá permitted torí kò ṣe gbogbo òlu ló permitted ẹ lè ṣe rally ní Dubai ní United Arab Emirates so ìwọ tó ń sọ pé òní jáde fún rally pé torí pé diaspora tó ń push yín máa jókòó sínú ilé because ìyà ò jẹ diaspora ìyà ò jẹ diaspora ẹ̀yin nìyà ń jẹ ẹ̀yin gangan lẹ wà nínú danger olóyè ò sí nínú danger àwọn ọmọ olóyè ò sí nínú danger bàbá Akíntóyè ò sí nínú danger àwọn ọmọ bàbá Akíntóyè ò sí nínú danger àwọn ọmọ bàbá Akíntóyè ò lè ní sí nínú danger because bàbá ti ṣiṣẹ́ lẹ̀ fún wọn ìgbà tó yẹ kí bàbá máa jókòó kó máa relax ni bàbá gbé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation dání pẹ̀lú àwọn àgbàlagbà díẹ̀ tó tẹ̀lé but àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àgbàlagbà ní nǹkan ṣe yẹn kò tí ì sí ọ̀nà níbẹ̀ torí pé ibẹ̀ làwọn ti ń jẹ so ìwọ táwọn sọ fún pé kò jáde fún rally tó ń gbọ́ audio táwọn tó ń ṣe audio nínú Nàìjíríà tí ò mọ bóyá rituals lọ́n ṣe tọ́lọ̀ pa àmà lówó nínú ẹ̀ èèyàn lówó tíyàn bá gé orí èèyàn you have the system that works system ló máa sọ yín dolówó lè dolówó nínú ìlú tí kò ní system tí owó orí yẹn tó ń devalue ní every second as at today owó ti di 2,060 naira per pound. Bàbá Akíntóyè wá sọ fún àwọn ìwé ìròyìn tó gbẹnu ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ pé we are not going back àwa ò padà sẹ́yìn we must leave Nigeria a gbọ́dọ̀ fi Nigeria sílẹ̀ ká má bàa parun sínú ẹ̀ torí inú ìparun ní Nàìjíríà wà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí tó o bá sí nínú ìparun ni ṣèbó gbọ́ etí òdi pé wọ́n attack military barrack for 2 hours kò ń ṣe 1 hour kò ń ṣe 30 minutes 2 hours tó bá ní irọ́ lápá pé kò ṣe 2 hours ẹni kan gbé statement jáde pé that attack tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní military barrack kò pé 2 hours ẹni kan jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ we are still working with our internal àmọ̀káwà náà ní gbogbo náà ní bẹ́ẹ̀ so àwọn information kan wà tó ń mú fún wa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ but tó o bá wá rí information kankan the evidence is out there we saw the video the dead bodies wọ́n ti move wọn wọ́n ní méjìlá ló kú let's even assume pé méjìlá ló kú but a mọ̀ pé tó bá sọ pé 12 people died you know what that means this happened in the military barracks and that remind me of what the late Malafia said ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń sọ pé kò lè happen the late Malafia told us that it would happen when they are ready by the time they finish the rural area wọ́n ti parí rural area gbogbo oko pátápátá àwọn èèyàn lè lọ sóko mọ́ tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé rọ́là ń pa we will continue to give you the evidence torí pé ta bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe lẹ́yìn kan máa ní ká keep quiet ẹ̀yin kan máa ní ká shut up because kí ni torí pé ẹ̀ ń feel pé àwa ta wà níta àwa là ń instigate problem tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ṣé mi mo ní kí Boko Haram lọ attack Nigerian military ṣé mi mo ní kí DCSS àti àwọn nírú nìbádù kọ́ má lè rí intelligence to stop it before it occur. Am I the one? ṣé mi ni mo ní kọ́ má lè stop ẹ̀ kó tó ṣẹlẹ̀ àti pé kí ló dé tí wọ́n lè stop ẹ̀ if Nigeria is as strong as you think that Nigeria is as strong but I want to say pé the Nigeria of 30 years ago of 40 years táwọn military was strong it has been infiltrated by the terrorists don run Nigerian government nísìn tó o bá tó wá rí yẹn lọ sórí Twitter mi a lè post ẹ̀ sórí Facebook wàá sunkún abiyamọ pẹ̀lú àwọn tí iná ti ràbò àtàwọn ọmọ kékèké àwọn èèyàn wo fídíò rẹ̀ wọ́n sunkún ni láti àárọ̀ láti post ẹ̀ go on my Twitter now kó lọ wo fídíò tí mo post àbí kó lọ sórí Koiki Media tó bá wò wá sunkún ọmọ I don't even know how many people were affected our body to split out completely wọ́n ní gbogbo àwọn dọ́kítà tí wọ́n sì sá kúrò nínú clinic ọgbọ́n wọn lọ nígbà tó débẹ̀ báyìí àwọn yẹn ti sá dànù ìlú yẹn ni wọ́n wá ń sọ fáwa pé ó máa work a dẹ̀ ń pariwo à ń sọ̀rọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ ẹ̀ ń complain pé ariwo táwọn pa yẹn kò débi kankan pé sáriwo la máa pa ni. Listen to this ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí platform kan ilé má lè gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí màláfíà just to remind you that ó sọ pé tó bá parí rural area wọ́n máa jáde síta wọ́n lè ti jáde síta wọ́n wọnú barracks lọ wọ́n pọ̀ bá this year nílé iṣẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ o kò ń ṣe last year gbọ́n sókè.
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers. That's big.
Yes. Okay. How will the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2.
Phase 2, yani military barracks.
Phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities.
Wọ́n jáde síta.
Going from house to house.
Ilé sílé.
Killing prominent people.
Pa gbogbo ẹni tó bá jẹ́ prominent people.
I can tell you.
Ó náà lè confirm ẹ̀.
By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
2 years after tí a gbọ́ pé video is in trend 2 years after Boko Haram ṣì ní the audacity the àdèmọ́rọ́ ìbò tá lè lò to move into the military barracks and they were there for 2 hours wákàtí méjì ni wọ́n fi operate. Oh la wọ́n operate fún 2 hours kò sí Nigerian Navy kò sí helicopter kò sí nǹkan kan tó lè wá gbà wọ́n ó mọ̀dí nítorí pé Nigeria is being operated as a non-entity right now. It's no longer a country. But many of you always come and argue that it is still going to work. And the question is how? Ọ̀nà wo ló máa gbà work? Níbo ló fẹ́ gbà work sí? Àti pé nígbà wo gan ló máa work? Why are we living in denial? Kí ló dé tá à ń parọ́ tí gbogbo wa dẹ̀ mọ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n tí arákùnrin sọ fún wa some years back, the former defense chief of staff T.Y. Danjuma.
The armed forces are not neutral. They collude.
Wọ́n ti darapọ̀.
They collude.
Wọ́n ti darapọ̀.
They collude.
Wọ́n ti darapọ̀.
With the armed bandits.
Pẹ̀lú àwọn asúnmọ̀mí, àwọn gbáyàpàyàn, àwọn terrorists. Wọ́n ń pa àwọn èèyàn, wọ́n ń pa Nigerians.
They facilitate them.
Àwọn gangan ni wọ́n ń ṣe ìrìnàjò wọn. Wọ́n ń bò wọ́n.
If you are depending on the armed forces.
Tó bá ń dúró de Nigerian army, kó wá gbà nílẹ̀, gbogbo yín pátá ni ikú máa pa. Tó bá dúró de Nigerian army, kó wá gbà nílẹ̀, gbogbo yín pátá ni ikú máa pa. Jẹ́ àtúgbọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. T.Y. Danjuma, the former chief of army staff, a máa padà sí ibi tí bàbá Kítóyè ṣe sọ pé a lè wà nínú country báyìí. We can't. We cannot live in this kind of country that we will continue to be scared of our lives. That we will be worried that something is playing out and something is happening. And what are the things that is happening? Many things are happening. One of them is that Nigeria has become a crime scene. And until we leave it, our life will be better. If you refuse to let it go, you will be part one day, and one day, o lè sọ pé wọ́n personally kọ́, but gbogbo bí tí ọmọ Yorùbá kọ́ bá ti attack wọn, gbogbo àná lọ́wọ́ attack. Gbọ́n kan títí wá dájú máa sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
Every one of us.
Gbogbo wa pátápátá, we must dìde, a gbọ́dọ̀ dìde.
The armed forces are not neutral.
Àwọn Nigerian army wọ́n ti wà colluded.
They collude.
Wọ́n ti darapọ̀ mọ́ Fúlàní terrorists. Àmọ̀ yàtọ̀ láàrin wọn mọ́.
They collude.
Ẹ̀mẹ́ta ló sọ wọ́n ti collude.
With the armed
pẹ̀lú àwọn làkúráwá àti àwọn wo àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń pè ní Boko Haram àti ISOP àti ISIS ọmọ ìyá kan náà ni wọ́n there's nothing like bandits. Wọ́n mọ bó ṣe rìn tó fi di pé wọ́n wọnú barracks military barracks not estate kò ń ṣe estate housing estate lọ́wọ́ wọ́n wọnú military barracks. Tó bá ń dúró pé kọ́ stop ẹ̀ gbogbo ipátá ni kú máa pa. Èmi kọ́ mo sọ tí wàá dáńjú mà ló sọ ẹ jẹ́ apàdà sí tí bàbá Akintoye wá sọ. Bàbá Akintoye wá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé ṣé ẹ̀gbọ́n táwọn èèyàn sọ lójú títì ni in táwọn èèyàn sọ ni pé no going back. We must leave Nigeria or our nation will perish. Ṣé o fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìran Yorùbá kó wà perish? Ṣé n tó fẹ́ nìyẹn? Ṣé o fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó wà perish? I'm sure most of us do not want that. Then tá a bá wá fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ kí wá ní ọ̀nà àbáyọ? Bàbá Akintoye wá tẹ̀síwájú. Remember that we are still asking you to support the platform financially. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ìyẹn omoriya owó gangan ló jẹ́ kí iléeṣẹ́ kó wà standard. Láti lè make sure pé gbogbo tí ẹ̀yin ò mọ̀ nísìn pé the chief of defence staff was in Doha. Àwa mọ̀. How do we debunk it? It's part of a media job. And this is what every media ló yẹ kọ́kọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí pé irọ́ ló lọ pa ní Doha ní Qatar. The chief of defence staff kò tí ì kúrò ní Qatar ni wọ́n ti attack barracks ẹ̀. And that is meant to be the chief of army staff or the chief of defence staff rather. Bàbá Akintoye wá sọ pé nígbà tí gbogbo àti ní lórí títì tó bá dé orí títì tó ń sọ fún ẹ pé political party ní irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀ jẹgúrú jẹrá ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo kí bàbá mi ọmọ àbá Abiodun Grace Chapel mo fojú pa yín rẹ gbogbo ẹ̀ tó kù la máa kí agbọ́dọ̀ appreciate àwọn medias. Kí ni mò ń tà láti fàyọ ni pé tá bá ṣì ń dúró pé ìtàn sọ lórí títì ó yàtọ̀ sí Yorùbá nation irọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Àyà yàn ń já ni ìyàwó kan pè mí nílé I had to call chief ìbànújẹ́ ló jẹ́ fún mi. Lára àwọn tájọ́ ń ṣe Yorùbá nation wọ́n ti threaten ẹ̀ ó wà lọ ń gbé ní uncompleted building. Wọ́n pè mí lórí video call pẹ̀lú àtàwọn ọmọ ìyá ẹ̀dẹ̀ ní àwọn rẹ́dì láti fẹ̀mí àwọn sílẹ̀. Gbogbo wa ẹ̀mí wa ó máa wà títí tá a máa fi délẹ̀ lérí. But tó bá ní ká jáde tó ń sọ pé kò sí tó kún ẹ̀ Koiki ẹlẹ́nu já wáyà ṣé wọ́n ló máa kó wa jáde wò ó. Àwọn ọmọ tẹ́lẹ̀ kó sí bíbà wọ́n wá sílé nísìnyí o fact ló gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn. Àwọn tó ń kọ́ àwọn ọmọ wọn lọ sílé kọ́dọ̀ bá máa ṣọ́ wọn lọ ó ṣọ́ wọn padà risk burúkú ni. Kí ni mo sọ èmi ò lè ká àwọn ọmọ wá sílé nísìnyí láyé èmi lè wá o èmi ilé ọmọ kì í bá bàbá lẹ́rù bọ̀ pé máa ká àwọn ọmọ òdùà máa rọra flight ticket sí Nàìjíríà pé kọ́ wá ṣe kí ni. So most of it wà nílé the bulk of the problem Nàìjíríà ló wà. Mo ní kò sórí social media láti máa gba Yorùbá country orílẹ̀-èdè yẹn láti máa gbà àwọn ọlájọ́ máa gbà gbogbo àwọn ká believe in it. Eléyìí ò ń sọ̀rọ̀ olóyè Ìgbòho is just one individual and there will be a lot you will hear from him. But for now àwa la ní Yorùbá nation àwa nìkan ṣe. Ó yí àwọn kan lórí platform àwọn kan wà lórí platform báyìí nísìn wọ́n mọ tó ń play out àwọn kan lẹ́nu àwọn ọmọ but in tó ń play out ni pé gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá náà fẹ́ Yorùbá country you have the right to come out. tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé òfẹ́ náà that's fine you can against it. We don't expect to get 100%. But the majority of the Yoruba people don't suffer lẹ́nu. Kò sí tó kàn pẹ̀lú àwọn Igbo, kò sí tó kàn pẹ̀lú àwọn Hausa, we are the ones suffering. Àwa ní ìdébá. Kí ni mo sọ? Ìṣẹ́ àti òṣì tó ti débá. Tó bá wo fídíò tó mo post sórí platform lẹ́nu, tó o bá ní làákàyè pé yes, Mike olówà mute. Mbọ̀, Mike olówà mute. Ẹni Mike wà mute. None of the mic is mute. Michael mute. They are not of me. As we, because audio tomorrow record it 1 hour, and I wanted to get it just about an hour. So ẹ jẹ́ kí sáré parí analysis Baba Akintoye yẹn tán tó mo fẹ́ kó parí wọnú audio yẹn, especially àwọn ìyá wa àtàwọn brothers wa tí wọ́n gbọ́ èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì tó jẹ́ pé òyìnbó lọ èdè Yorùbá ni wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ́ ká sọ. We mean the Yoruba people in Nigeria. Baba Akintoye ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nínú Nigeria, roughly about 55 to 60 million. Wọ́n ní a fẹ́ establish ìlú tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. A fẹ́ establish, a fẹ́ gba ìlú tiwa, a fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìlú wa kó dá dúró away from ìlú òfò tí gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa ọmọọba Abiodun Grace Chapel tí bàbá wa prophet Ṣẹ́gun Adébáyọ̀ Máyọ̀wá gbogbo àwọn bàbá àtàwọn wòlíì àtàwọn babaláwo tó sọ pé àfi kílẹ̀ Yorùbá kó dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí China gẹ́gẹ́ bí Germany gẹ́gẹ́ bí France gẹ́gẹ́ bí gbogbo ìlú tí wọ́n jẹ́ ẹ̀yà kan náà àwa ní oríṣiríṣi èèyàn tó máa gbé níbẹ̀ but with a full ID torí àwa táwa gbé ní bíbá máa gbé ní bíbá tó ń ṣe ń tọ́ bí sí bíbá àwọn máa gbà ká lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ àní ó tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn bẹ́ẹ̀ nígbà táwọn ọ̀pá àbíbí kọ̀ọ̀kan tá fẹ́ lọ. And don't let anybody fool you like I always say. Àwọn kan japa some years back, àwọn kan ṣe ń japa lẹ́nu. But what we are saying is that the only solution tá a bá gba country tiwa, ká gba orílẹ̀-èdè tiwa, we will all be affected one way or the other. Ó kàn máa impact gbogbo wa differently ni. Àwọn kan máa wà impacted more while àwọn kan ní wà impacted more. Ó wá ní bàbá pé lẹ́tà tí ẹ gbé lọ sí Downing Street ní October 12 kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí bàbá wa jẹ́ kó yé gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé a ti gba acknowledgement ẹ̀ kí ló ń pè ní acknowledgement a ti gba ẹ̀rí pé wọ́n ti gba lẹ́tà wa dínúlé àmọ́ kò ń ṣe tó ń yá torí pé ìjọba tá gbé wá bá ìjọba tó wà powerful lára ìjọba àgbáyé ni torí tá a bá ní United Kingdom ẹ̀ lè fọwọ́ rọ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ṣọmọ wa dá wa lóhùn wọ́n sì ń ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí ṣé yẹn dá kájáde fún rálì kò dá dúró ṣé yẹn jáde pé gbogbo àwọn ìlú mi ta fi bá sọ̀rọ̀ kò dá dúró. But gbogbo ala mọ̀ the importance of the United Kingdom. Just to move swiftly to the time. As we move forward, bàbá bá jẹ́ kó yé wa pé gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ sì tún máa gbọ́n àwọn láìpẹ́ yìí. But ìwọ tó ṣe wà in doubt. Ìwọ tó ṣe sọ pé níbo ló bá ṣẹ́ dé. Ìwọ tó sọ pé ó ti pẹ́ jù. Máa rántí pé we are talking about a country that has been invaded. Nigeria has been invaded already. And it is not likely to work for 64 years. 64. Tinubu kọ́ ló bàjẹ́ in 64 years. But ó wà lára àwọn tó pètò ìbàjẹ́ nígbà tó lọ gbé Buhari wọlé. Kò dẹ̀ sí kankan tí President Bola Tinubu tó lè ṣe tó lè mú wa pé ká jó sínú Nigeria. I need a restructure. What we need is a full independent Yoruba country. Now, as that audio has been received in my team, tẹ́yìn ọba ti bá pàdé ẹ bá wa push ẹ̀ síta. Let's come back a little bit because we're just 1 hour into the program. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa pé àtúkù happy new year. Whether we are out or not, the work continue. Whether we are not live, the job continue. We are working around the clock, and everybody has different role. In the leader Yoruba nation, we have our leaders and they are working. And when our leader wants us to talk, we'll come and talk to you from the leader. It is coming from the leader. It is coming from the media analysis of gbogbo nǹkan tí a feel pé advantage of having our own independent country. And I want us to listen to this before we move further. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Yoruba nation ó máa wá sí ìmúṣẹ, but it will happen only if tí gbogbo àtàbà fọwọ́ kún. The work is not for Igboho alone. Igboho lè wà ní gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá simultaneously. Igboho dẹ̀ lè wà ní Germany kó tún wà ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá simultaneously. So tó bá ti ní ká jáde, it is our responsibility. It is not Igboho's responsibility alone. It is our own collective responsibility. And it is not just Baba Akintoye. And that is on that. And do not let anybody deceive you. We need a rally. We need a rally to get the message across the globe. And we will continue to do rally until our demands are met. And there's nothing wrong in that. The mixed LR. The mixed LR is on. There's nothing wrong with it. The X. Oh, the X. Because phone Timon lonely. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I've just realized that is the Twitter space. You are mixing it up. Twitter space. They're not mixed LR. I've got it back on. There might be no time already. Twitter space. The mic was off. I think there was a call coming through. It automatically muted the play. There was something to Mobolati or download the con. Let me see if I can get that on. There is nothing that can rectify the danger. It was off for a very long time. But so Twitter space, you could have told me it's Twitter space. Then I would have seen it. Because I can still read the comments across all my channel as I have it here. She live Lori Koiki Media. I want to go pass you keke Lori YouTube. So anything go as a repeated darapọ̀ mọ́ channel tani keba darapọ̀ mọ́. At the post link and prepare program at least 10 minutes ahead. I want to one platform keke gan. They are making our videos, they are making their videos, and they are making revenue. There's no point where I will not make revenue in my own channel. I need that revenue no matter how small. Mo lè kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin grandma, ẹ̀yin mommy mi, ẹ̀yin aunties, then contribute. Pé kí lè ṣe kó lè máa tẹ̀síwájú. Owó oúnjẹ kọ́ ni mò ń wá. I keep saying it. Tó bá jẹ́ pé owó oúnjẹ ni mò ń wá ni, yes, it's a separate thing. We need money to run the operation of this organization, since it is just without any advert and all that. So tabawa to lè ní advert lórí YouTube tó lè máa fún wa ní revenue. Why not? Ìyẹn la ṣe ní kátó ṣojú kan from the beginning of this year, and we review it. But for now, ní ṣe live lórí Koiki Media. We will continue to push the live on the WD76 Media and the other channels as well. So mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin wa pé happy new year. Àdẹ̀kù bí nǹkan ṣe lọ ní ilẹ̀ wa tí gbogbo wa ń rí on a daily basis. If I can't find the video now, I will have to. Where's the phone? I'm sure I posted it before we started the program. I'm sure I did. There's something there I want us to listen to, because Taban Sokwe, the insecurity that is happening on Yoruba land. The reason why there is insecurity is because Awon Agbesumomi empowered. They are not empowering them. That Nigeria is still running does not mean that you cannot empower the people. And who are the people? Okay, I think this is it. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí bàbá ẹ̀ sọ níbí báyìí. Mo kí gbogbo ọlẹ́ǹkan sí. Ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́n tó sọ.
No why? Somebody
It's a copyright so BBC Yoruba. But mo fẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ nǹkan tí bàbá ẹ̀ sọ. Alàgbà bàbá ẹ̀. Ọlọ́dẹ ni wọ́n.
That's it. Ọlọ́pàá ló ṣe iná máa sọ, wọ́n ti sọ pé ọdẹ ló ṣe. Wọn ò ká ọdẹ kún. Kọ̀ọ̀kan rárá.
Lọ́nà tí olórí sọ.
I think mo ti gbọ́ sí ẹgbẹ́ start
Bàbá gbọ́n kan kó jẹ́ àjù wàhálà. Bàbá fọlọ́pàá mọ́ ọba ló máa ránṣẹ́ bí kan lọ fún wọn lẹ̀. Wọ́n bá lè jí wọn gbé tẹ́gbọ́n wí àwọn lè máa pè.
Ṣé gbọ́n kan tó sọ? Tí wọ́n bá mú wọn, tó bá mú àwọn Fúlàní tó ń ṣe dààmúdààmú fún wa nílẹ̀ wa, àwọn ọba ló máa ń ní kó fi wọ́n sílẹ̀. Ètí bàbá ọlọ́dẹ sọ ni bàbá ẹ̀. This our father. Àwọn ọlọ́dẹ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Àgbẹ̀ lọ́dẹ, ọdẹ làgbẹ̀. Àwọn náà làgbẹ̀ kọjá. Ọdẹ ni wá. Màdúrà jẹ́ oko, ábàgbọ̀n kan kó jẹ́ àjù wàhálà. Tá a bá fọlọ́pàá mọ́ wọn, ọba ló máa ránṣẹ́ pé kán lọ fún wọn lẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹnu mo fi sọ tó wọn báyìí. Wọ́n ti ra màálù sọ̀dọ̀ wọn Fúlàní tó ń bá wọn tọ́jú ẹranko, tó ń bá wọn tọ́jú ẹran. Ẹni bá dé ògèrè sí ni, alùpùpù Fúlàní, alùpùpù Haúsá ló níbẹ̀. Bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ bá bọ́lẹ̀ ní Haúsá ló bọ́lé. Tí Fúlàní bá ń dà máa ní, wọ́n máa gbé ìdàdà nígbà, wọ́n máa gbé ìmọ̀dá nígbà. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́mọ Yorùbá gbé ìbọn dání kó máa nílò náà jìtọ̀ lọ́pàá máa mú. Lọ́pàá máa mú. Bolosí lọ́ta tó yìn, bolosí mọ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà máa fún wa ní kí nígbà ìpara wọn ti gbé ọ̀dọ̀ tó wá dẹ̀ máa bèrè pé wọ́n ti tìmọ́lé kí ló fẹ́ ṣe lẹ́nu kẹlẹ́ mọ́ 50,000 wa lẹ́nu pẹ́ 100,000 wa kan tó fi lẹ̀. Ní wàá tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ jí wọn gbé tẹ́gbọ́n wí àwọn lè máa pè àwọn là ń wọ̀ gbó.
Táwọn bá wá wọgbó lọ, wọ́n wá gbé oríyìn fún ọlọ́pàá. Sherry, until gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá understand that in tí ó ń lọ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tí ẹ fi sọ pé káwà ní Nàìjíríà ó ti affect every sector of Yoruba land. A kàn sọ pé ojú kan ló affect ni economic, it has affected us. Average ni ọmọ Yorùbá ní cash nínú báńkì débi kó máa ní cash lọ́wọ́. Àwọn àdéhùn tó yẹ pé we have to only eat on a daily basis. Tá a bá jáde àlè jẹun, and that's fáwọn tí wọ́n tẹ̀ ṣeré kan jẹ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ fídíò yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí without any interruption.
Màdúrà jẹ́ oko, ábàgbọ̀n kan kó jẹ́ àjù wàhálà. Tá a bá fọlọ́pàá mọ́ wọn, ọba ló máa ránṣẹ́ pé kán lọ fún wọn lẹ̀. Tí wọ́n bá lè jí wọn gbé tẹ́gbọ́n wí àwọn lè máa pè àwọn là ń wọ̀ gbó. Ẹ̀ lè wọnú gbó. Àgbẹ̀ lọ́dẹ, ọdẹ làgbẹ̀. Àwọn náà làgbẹ̀ kọjá. Ọdẹ ni wá. Màdúrà jẹ́ oko, ábàgbọ̀n kan kó jẹ́ àjù wàhálà. Tá a bá fọlọ́pàá mọ́ wọn, ọba ló máa ránṣẹ́ pé kán lọ fún wọn lẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹnu mo fi sọ tó wọn báyìí. Wọ́n ti ra màálù sọ̀dọ̀ wọn Fúlàní tó ń bá wọn tọ́jú ẹranko, tó ń bá wọn tọ́jú ẹran. Ẹni bá dé ògèrè sí ni, alùpùpù Fúlàní, alùpùpù Haúsá ló níbẹ̀. Bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ bá bọ́lẹ̀ ní Haúsá ló bọ́lé. Tí Fúlàní bá ń dà máa ní, wọ́n máa gbé ìdàdà nígbà, wọ́n máa gbé ìmọ̀dá nígbà. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́mọ Yorùbá gbé ìmọ̀dá ní kó máa nílò báyìí, ọlọ́pàá máa mú. Ọlọ́pàá máa mú. Bolosí lọ́ta tó yìn, bolosí mọ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà máa fún wa ní kí nígbà ìpara wọn ti gbé ọ̀dọ̀ tó wá dẹ̀ máa bèrè pé wọ́n ti tìmọ́lé kí ló fẹ́ ṣe lẹ́nu kẹlẹ́ mọ́ 50,000 wa lẹ́nu pẹ́ 100,000 wa kan tó fi lẹ̀. Ní wàá tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ jí wọn gbé tẹ́gbọ́n wí àwọn lè máa pè àwọn là ń wọ̀ gbó. Ẹ̀ lè wọnú gbó. À ń ṣe kìnnì pépà ló gbé. Pépà gbé rédíò àtúnṣọ tẹlifíṣàn tó ṣòwò wa láti ẹ̀ ọlọ́pàá ló ṣe iná máa sọ wọn ti sọ pé ọdẹ ló ṣe wọn ò ká ọdẹ kún kọ̀ọ̀kan rárá.
now gbogbo alágbọ́n tí bàbá yẹn sọ kọ́lọ́n túbọ̀ jẹ́ kárí àwọn bàbá yẹn pẹ́ dáadáa kọ́lọ́n túbọ̀ bá wa lọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀mí gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa that are ready to make our land a very safe place, but apparently that is not happening. MOD, because we have some of our people don't compromise security in Ile Yoruba. But we are not talking about security alone now. We are talking about vast amount of different things that affect us. From security to Yoruba economy to Yoruba education to our welfare to having a constitution that is not representing Yoruba people in the present day Nigeria. Because the current constitution, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu lò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́, is very useless to make any life meaningful for you and me in the last 9 years of their government. Because Agbodo Mu Buhari more President Tinubu's government, because it's 8 years of Buhari, 1 year of his own. Now, the question T and Balonipe, as everybody is campaigning for different things, àwọn olóṣèlú gbogbo láti mọ̀ tán campaign fún, àwọn olóṣèlú campaign for their own selfish gain, their own selfish interest, not the interest of the Yoruba people. Because the Yoruba people that are asking for self-determination knows definitely that it will not be as usual game if the country goes out and a new country is established. And if a new country is established. But you cannot establish a new country until we exit the one that we are in. Akọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ exit Nigeria. So for those of you that are against Yoruba nation, for those of you that are always saying that, why Yoruba nation? Why not let us rectify the problem? Oh, is it not going to be the same leader? Share the same constitution. Don't know in Nigeria. Lamado Tabadele Yoruba. Can you fight the constitution? Can you fight the justice system of Nigeria right now? Can you fight the current system of Nigeria? How many of you have the balls to fight it? But when we have our own country, we can then restructure the things that we want and how we want it according to every one of us, not one particular section of the country that is enjoying the country right now. And everybody is running away from that. Because why? Because one read Tinubu as their savior, forgetting that if they can attack that system that even Tinubu is the president right now, what about many other systems that will be attacked very soon? Let's listen to a very Maro show the same. I saw later on the program the same. So why is that? I'm putting the information in this thing. Remember, necessarily, I'm sure. A family, I can play while I'm responding to. And this is the person speaking. In case you're wondering,
easy to say that Nigeria economy grew by 4.6%. Is that really correct? In economics, is that really correct? Can you compare Nigeria with Osun State, or can you compare Nigeria with Sokoto State? That is not correct. You compare Nigeria with Ghana, you compare Nigeria with United Arab Emirates, and you compare Nigeria with Argentina. So when you are comparing, which currency do you use? You use the dollar. Now, when you look at our GDP 2 years ago, it was $500 billion. What is it? $1 billion. What is it today? 199. We are now $199 billion. Are we better off or worse off? We are living in our worst days. Pre-Jonathan regime, before we rebase the economy. Before rebasing the economy, we're larger than this. So everybody, per capita income in Nigeria now is nearly above $1, $1,000. What used to be $3,000? So are we better off or worse off? How can subsidy removal and infiltration be better? The question you should ask is, what should we have done differently? And there are options which were made available, written and in discussion to authority. But the cheapest way is for government revenue to boost, hoping President Tinubu hopes that governors will invest in the economy. What's that done? What's that done? But for a few states to actually reinvested this back into the economy, it's important for people to know the truth. After all, your station is about as it is. Yes. People say the truth.
Yes, as it is.
This economy is not as strong as it should be.
Let me start charging this phone because I'm going to need it now. We're just about, less than 20 minutes out of the program. So, purpose of this program this afternoon was to come and talk about, just for attention, the difference between the education system in the UK and the education system in Nigeria. The difference. And many Yoruba people that are still believing that Nigeria will be a great country that will work for you. It is high time you forget that nonsense. It is high time you listen now and accept the fact that Nigeria is not going to work. What they parrot for you from all their own media, their propagandas, that Nigeria is working towards working. Let's listen to the economic situation of Nigeria as of today. So like I said, because I'm working out with time, we are just about 2 hours morning. So we are 1 hour 26 minutes into the program. So we're just less than 35 minutes to the end of this program. But let's listen. How this played out when it comes to the economy of Nigeria. I am sorry to say this. This video critically explains how Nigeria is getting destroyed. It is not we that we are destroying Nigeria. How would limit to destroy Nigeria? What power do I have to destroy? Am I the Boko Haram that is attacking the military barracks? Am I the one that attacked the Abuja school with the IDE? Let me quickly push that in. But yeah, don't put in the IDE. There was an attack in Abuja where 2 students were killed. And this is coming from the AP. Explosive device kills. And don't tell me about other countries. I'm not interested about other countries. I'm talking about Nigeria as a country and why it has not been able to protect the lives of millions of Nigeria in the last, years of being together in that fake union. Because some of you always come and say, oh, but there's also attack am I a citizen of that country? We're talking about Nigeria. So our focus point is Nigeria, where it has been unable to govern itself because Tinubu should not be traveling to Ghana when there is danger in his backyard. And visit Borno State to find out what happened at that military barracks. But are they interested? He wants to show himself that he's the president. And that is why the Ghana president can even mix up the names. You can see how useless every one of them are. Ghana president, Tinubu, Ghana president. Do you understand that? Ghanaian president, the new president, is calling Tinubu the Ghana president when he was, putting his, his appreciation to those that came for the event. Moki Yoruba Nation Affective all the way from Hong Kong. So you can see, the useless set of people. Because you will expect the president to have been debriefed and read through what he's going to say. But rather, and bring on the how can Tinubu be the president of Ghana?